I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why did I convince myself to do this? I'm so nervous because I am not like a any sort of personality whatsoever. So I'm trying to get everything set up to get you all invited if you want to join. Let's see. And I do have my Chipotle. I got it today. So I'm pretty happy about that. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm like double on LinkedIn and this StreamYard. So hopefully I just posted a comment on the event. So if you have the opportunity to join me being a socially awkward tech nerd online at lunchtime, please do so I don't sit here and talk to myself for an hour. I'm double checking on my phone to make sure that it actually populated so I don't sit here and ramble on for an hour and then nobody can actually like connect with the thing. So um, yeah, so I've got my Chipotle. I promised I would. Hi, how are you? Um, I wanted to do this because I've noticed a lot of like really formal presentations, especially on LinkedIn, because we're like a really professional platform. And I'm sorry, I have cats in the background, so they're pretty annoying. But there's not a lot of like really informal discussion about like talking about, you hear a lot of like big names of people. Um, you know, doing all this stuff and they do it in a super like professional platform. And so I was like, well, why don't I just go get lunch? Because I'm going to eat lunch anyway. You're probably going to eat lunch sometime today. And just sit down and talk. In some places, we don't have the ability to meet people where you would like go out to a restaurant and just chit chat with your colleagues. So I just wanted to do this because I think that we need more of a social um like a social interaction, less of like me teaching you or telling you because I'm some subject matter expert. That not entirely at all the truth. I just want to share my knowledge with people, but also like create this community of other people sharing their knowledge and being able to like connect with other people. So I can see the comments. So that's cool. This is my first time using this. So this is awesome. Can I suggest some pen testing books for beginners? Yeah, I actually have. Hold on one moment. Let's see. Okay, so this is not like a pen testing book, but this is a good like book to get you in your mindset. It's called Cybersecurity and Cyber War by P.W. Singer, and he does a lot of really good. I don't know if you can see it. He does a lot of really good books. I think he has a couple of nonfiction or fiction books as well, but it basically talks about like what cyber is going to be in the future as far as like what what we can use pen testing and hacking and things like that for, like in a real world engagement. So that's a really good one just to get in like the mindset. I know my food's getting cold, thank you, but I like to talk. I just jabber on. So maybe I'll eat in an hour. This is one of my favorite books on hacking. It's The Art of Exploitation by John Erickson. This is a really good book that goes through, I mean, it gives you stuff like full codes to be able to put in to your scripts that you're running. It's broken down by, uh, you know, you've got Ping of Death talking about like ICMP attacks and then, ping flooding and stuff. So definitely go check out this book. This is like this one, and the next one that I'm going to show is the probably my two favorite books because they're so explanatory to anybody that just picked them up off the street. The next one is the Linux Bible, just because most of the stuff that you're going to be doing hacking wise is probably going to be from a Kali Linux box. And you can argue with me all day long about how you use Parrot and other different Linux OSs. But regardless, it's Linux box. So this is like an awesome tool to have in your arsenal just to have a quick reference. I haven't been able to dog ear the parts that are the most important to me, but I would recommend getting a book like this that has like just chapters on basically anything that that's really bad. Basically anything that you could think of Linux wise, and then pick out the most interesting things to you. Maybe you need a little bit more help in Active Directory. So, pull out the stuff that maybe helps you enumerate Active Directory from, the Art of Hacking or something like that. There are a couple other online resources that I know of that are good. I've been trying to do a lot of cheat sheets lately because I feel like there's so much information out there that it's really overwhelming, especially when you're trying to get into cyber specifically. It tends to get really overwhelming really quickly. And it's really difficult for people to pick out like what is most important to them. So I said, hey, pull out the stuff that's most important to you in those books. But what if you don't know what's most important to you? And when you talk about pen testing, there's a lot of different things that you can pen test. You could be a host-based pen tester where you're looking at like the boxes, like the systems, and you're trying to enumerate things that you can exploit on there. There's network pen testing. There's also you've got web application pen testing, just application like mobile pen testing. So that is there are whole different types of different venues you could go to do all of those things, and you don't know like which one you might be good at or what you'd be interested in. I saw a Reddit post recently that was asking, hey, what is do people like specialize in stuff that they pen test? Do they just like focus on these specific things that they are good at? Like, I'm good at Active Directory exploitation, so I'm just going to be like an AD exploiter. That it's not that finite, but that's to me speaks to that person's intelligence in like host-based pen testing. So maybe they'd be better in host-based pen testing. I don't have the Kali Linux penetration testing Bible. Another one that I would recommend that I don't have is the Red Team Field Manual. That is a really good one as well. That's pretty much like your whole small training manual in a nutshell. I think that they recently released a version 2.0. They released a newer version, and that's a good one as well. There's a lot of really good resources that are out there. I could not give you all of them, but that's kind of why I wanted to start this conversation, because there are so many people out there that know way more than I do, or even if it's not more, it's just different. It's just different knowledge. So why would I try to gatekeep some of that information from people when really we just need to spread the wealth of knowledge? So yeah, I'm going to take a bite first because I'm being tattled on my food's getting cold. I sat here and said I'm going to eat lunch, and then I'm just going to ramble on for 10 minutes before actually eating. Then I got this an hour ago, so I'm starving. Can you suggest me best pen and I can actually show this on the screen. Cool. Can you suggest me best pen testing full course with practical? I have posted a ton about Applied Technology Academy. They are phenomenal. I do a lot of work with them. I have helped them try to develop their curriculum for OSCP. So they like phenomenal company. Definitely check them out if you're looking for like an offensive security instructor led course. If you're looking to do stuff on your own and on your own time, that's fair too. I have loved what Heath Adams has done with his TCM security. The big thing with that is that OSCP they've made themselves known. They are the like leader in offensive security certifications because they've been around so long. They've made their name, and they've just like it's just globally recognized. And I know TCM Security is going to get there, and they're trying to make a name for themselves too. But they're so relatively new that it's hard for everybody in the world to know about all of these new companies coming up and providing these awesome, outstanding courses and certifications. But if you're looking for a course, I would absolutely check out TCM Security's content, and definitely try Hack the Box too. I think that people think that Hack the Box is just like boxes to go and pen test on, which is true. They have that, but they also have courses themselves and learning tracks that they've designed to basically facilitate your learning, and not necessarily like hand you a bunch of CTF boxes that you like have to figure out on your own. There's walkthroughs and all sorts of stuff. So if you just like kind of want to dive right in, definitely do that. No Starch has a lot of really good stuff. I actually did a humble bundle last year of No Starch Press, and O'Reilly has a lot of really good books as well. And they're super dry to a point, but they're so thorough. And I just think that you just gotta get past like the dryness of some of the content. I haven't checked out their academies, but that's a great suggestion, Tyson. I appreciate that. Because I only know what I know. What do they say? You don't know what you don't know, sort of thing. So, so this is a good conversation. I'm appreciating the input, and hopefully maybe I get some other people on video here so I don't have to eat by myself. You just watch me eating Chipotle weirdly online. It's not really like a LinkedIn thing, but whatever. I'm here. I'm here for you. So this is fun for me. So I post a lot of memes. I help Applied Technology Academy run their social media pages, and I post a lot of memes on like information technology and cyber, and try to stay up with some of the trends because let's be honest, like I'm on the cusp of like millennial and Gen Z generation. So I'm like, what do they call it, a zillennial? So I get the awkwardness of millennials with the internet and with social media, but I also understand like the trends and things like that with like social media and what people are engaged with. So I try to post a lot of like fun, relatable stuff, because it doesn't have to be like learning cybersecurity and learning technology doesn't have to be so serious all the time. Like we act like this is such a serious, what is it, a job field. And it is to an extent because we have to take our jobs seriously, but why can't we have fun doing like what we enjoy? I know a lot of people that do cybersecurity and do IT, they really enjoy what they do. And so why do we always have to be so stiff and, upright? It's not black and white. It's just, it's fun. And so I posted something last week about a meme that was like, people saying LinkedIn is not the place for memes, is not the place for cybersecurity memes and stuff. And I'm like, well, like probably, if I had to guess, probably the vast majority of people on LinkedIn right now kind of fall into that like 20-year-old to I don't know, 45-year-old category. I mean, like, probably there's a handful of people that are higher than that, but like, they like funny stuff too. Like, people like to laugh. Don't discredit people's, like, if you want to be grumpy, then that's fine. You can be grumpy, cyber professional. That's fine. I'm going to be funny and goofy. I literally named this stream Dino Nuggets. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. Like, it's not that serious. It can be fun. It can be enjoyable. And I think that that's what a lot of people kind of gravitate towards now too. Especially in this community, there are so many young people trying to like break into cybersecurity. It's like, well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we can learn from people that have done it in the past, but there's so many different ways you can do it now too. So why not make it enjoyable and make it like, something that's, I don't know, fun for everybody instead of just being so uptight. Speaking of Dino Nuggets, I named my company the Security Rex, and everybody's like, oh, that's such a funny name. Like, that's so funny. That's so like quirky. How did you come up with that? And I thought about sharing this story. I don't think I've ever really shared it with anybody. Not that it's like anything too bad or anything. But I went through, it was my first CTF in 2018, my first CTF. And I was trying to think of a handle so I could input my flags. And I just like thought up off the top of my head, like Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus is a dinosaur. And I just thought that would be a cool name. And then I went through and I typed out the name and I hit submit. And I finished up my CTF and then I went home. And I spelled Stegosaurus wrong. I spelled it STO or STGO, Stego, instead of Stega with an A. Stega is the correct spelling of Stegosaurus. Stego is like not a word. And then I realized as I was continuing my cybersecurity journey that steganography is a thing. And then I just was like, oh, well, I'm just going to tell people that I was just, I was just trying to use a play on words, like trying to make it like steganography, stegosaurus. Look at me. I'm so smart. Like, my misspelling, like, it wasn't a misspelling. It was all on purpose. And the rest is history. And then it's always been just dinosaur themed things. And so I named my company the Security Rex. And now I have a live stream called Dino Nuggets because my son really likes chicken nuggets right now. So that's like the only thing he'll eat. And like, everybody knows what Dino Nuggets are. They're like the fun dinosaur shaped things, whether you get them from like kids cuisine back in the 90s or you buy them in the Tyson chicken bags now. So I thought that was a fun like lunch themed name. I got a couple of questions. What challenges have you come across as a security consultant? As someone who is a part of the company protecting a network, consulting is a big abstract. Yeah, it really is. It's definitely abstract. I didn't know what a consultant was until I was one. My camera is trying to hone in on my orange cat back there. Just finding the one spot of sun in the dining room. So as a security consultant now, I work for Mandiant, who's now part of Google Cloud. And really the challenges that I've found is finding my niche. Like, I really love offensive security and I really enjoy doing that. But I'm not an offensive security consultant. I'm an incident response consultant. I'm a defensive cyber operations consultant. I do defensive stuff in my time. So as an offensive security consultant, I would have expected myself to teach people about offensive security and like use my offensive security skills and my pen testing skills to help people secure their networks. And that obviously did not pan out because I'm a defensive consultant, which is great. I can still use my offensive security skills as a defensive consultant. Now, what's a consultant? really, in a nutshell, it's just subject matter expert. I'm there to provide my expertise in a field, whatever that field may be. Uh, I'm there to provide that expertise to people that need it or people that ask for it, or based on specific situations that occur. Like maybe there's incidents that need responding to. Maybe there's just a question about a new technology or a question about, a CDE that has come out. What do I know about it? So trying to find my niche in that, trying to find where I could use my skills. It's kind of like I like to translate it into when people come into the field of cybersecurity from a different field. I know my friend, a couple of friends on here, Brady came through and he was a pharmacist, and there is a couple other people that have come from finance. I recently talked to someone who is coming from like a quality assurance like department, and they wanted to get in IT and use the skills that you have to translate them into cybersecurity. So like cybersecurity is so vast that you use the things that you're good at. I was a psychology major before getting into cybersecurity, and like, what do you use? Like psychology is like the thoughts and minds of humans, and cybersecurity is like the finger tapping on the keyboard and trying to hack things and not let people hack things. So how do I use the skills that I have to try to translate into cybersecurity? And so I came in with psychology experience. I came in with offensive security experience. And then I landed in this role as a consultant. And I just took what I was told about being a consultant as being a subject matter expert, and tried to translate that into what I could provide for other people. So I might have a passion in offensive security, but I'm a defensive consultant. So I use a lot of my offensive security knowledge to maybe help like track on the MITRE attack, framework, like what someone may have done or what someone may do on the defensive side to help, SOC analysts and things like that better position themselves to prepare or respond to that stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing that like the biggest challenge that I've found as a security consultant is like, where do I fit in? And coming into an organization like Mandiant, there's like, I will never be the smartest person in the room. There are so many people that are so intelligent, and it's not just Mandiant, it's across like the entirety of the field of cybersecurity. There are so many people that are so smart, and it like imposter syndrome is so real. That like me trying to find my little fish self in a big pond sort of thing, that's been really hard because you almost, especially leaving the military myself, you find that you are trying to reinvent who you are. And I feel like that would translate very well into someone coming from a different background into cybersecurity. Now you're trying to find out who you are as a person in the world of cybersecurity. So hopefully that answers that question a little bit. To conceptualize as a possible future career track, I would say focus on what you're interested in now. So if you're interested in blue teaming, do some blue team stuff and do some red team stuff if you're interested in that, and then pursue a consultancy position later. Because really it is a subject matter expert in something, whatever it is. You want to be able to provide expertise in something, and that's what people are looking for. Okay. Whoa. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this question is asking. Are you able to apply my skills on Army systems? Is that if that's the question, let me know. Follow up in the comments so that way I don't misinterpret that question. Second in the conversation. I'm reading through the comments right now. I'm going to eat. Oh yeah. So Tyson says that he's moving from intellectual property attorney to senior cybersecurity analyst. Is that what I understand? So basically, you're moving from one um, like career field to cybersecurity, and that's exactly what I was just talking about. So that's great insight. Yeah, please continue to ask questions. Yeah, I love this conversation. It's great. I'll keep eating, but I'm glad that y'all are tuning into the comments. I love Chipotle. Like I can't help myself. My husband doesn't like Chipotle as much as I do, so I could eat it every day and he gets so sick of it. So yeah, so Tyson, to your point, intellectual property attorney, that probably translates pretty well into like cyber, maybe not necessarily a security analyst, but I could see that there would be potential to translate like your skills into something like that. And people discredit like bringing in leadership skills. Like you don't have to be like you could be a worker at Walmart and be a manager at Walmart and then decide like I want to go be a SOC analyst, or I want to go be whatever. But it's just one of those things that's like you can bring skills that aren't necessarily hard skills into a technical role. There are so many people that I work with that are in technical manager roles right now that really didn't necessarily have a lot of technical background, at least starting out in their careers, and then they kind of shifted. And to their to their defense, a lot of the people that I know that did that were military and it was kind of thrust upon them, but that is not exclusive to the public sector. Like that is something that is incredibly invaluable to people in the private sector as well. And I can speak on that being in a huge company like Google. Like there are just so many people that could benefit from good leadership and good management. And if you had like a nugget of information about technology, like that's awesome. That's such a good skill to have because we socially awkward, introverted, techie people like need good leadership and need people that are extroverted and smart and emotionally intelligent to like lead our teams. Like and I'm not discounting, like there are tons of like technologically savvy people that are like super outgoing and super extroverted, but they're not that's not a consistent trend. If you ask most people in the tech sector, they're probably going to tell you that they probably have more of an introverted personality, and that's totally fair. I mean, that's kind of what we do. I'm sitting behind a desk right now talking to a bunch of comments streaming on like the side of my computer, and there's no one around me, and this is comfortable for me. I can sit here and talk all day long about straight to my webcam. I'm reading Tyson's statement about Rosetta Stone right now. So are you saying that you like, can you elaborate on that? Because I'd like to like dive into that a little more. Being able to translate technical speak to lawyer speak. Oh yeah, that is so true. That is incredibly. That is a talent in and of itself. Being able to basically be a tech translator. There are so many key stakeholders that don't quite understand what your level 1 and 2 SOC analysts are doing, and being able to translate what they're doing and how that impacts an organization is like such an incredible skill to have. And you do have to be a little bit comfortable with public speaking and being able to speak intelligently. I just said like ums are things that we do when we don't know what to say and we're filling the void of awkward with sound or with a word. because we're uncomfortable. That's just normal human nature. So a lot of ums and likes and things like that. Again, and I am uncomfortable because this is my first time ever doing this. And so I'm speaking to a camera and my heart's racing and I'm like nervous. And so like I think it's important to I think it's important to show that because not everybody has it all together. I'm not like the most like I'm not the best speaker in the world, but I can sit here and try to have an engaging conversation with you and I enjoy it. So I think it's important to shed light on the fact that that is a huge skill to have, to be able to speak tech and to speak to people intelligently and to not drive people's attention away by getting bogged down in all of the junk. Yeah, you said Rosetta Stone, and I'm thinking about my subscription to Rosetta Stone that I need to get caught up on. I was literally thinking about languages, like German and stuff like that. So I was trying to process in my head what that meant. So thank you for clarifying that, because now I'm just thinking that thankfully I don't have Duolingo, so they're not like harassing me saying that I've missed all of my assignments lately. Duolingo is savage. Yeah, someone commented this one. Synthesizing technical concepts also is a huge thing we need to do in the industry. And that kind of just goes back to what we were just talking about. There are a lot of things that tech companies do. And even to me, they will advertise like, hey, this is a product that we have. And I'm like, okay, why do I care? Like, I don't understand what you're offering. Like, that's a cool technology, but I don't need that. I don't want that. That's too much, or I don't understand it, so I don't care as much. I think I saw it was Meta or something came out with a virtual reality glasses or something, and I thought it was so cool because it's like you can like pull up your screen like Futurama style, like your Chrome tabs and stuff in your glasses, and I thought it was really cool. But I was like, why do I need that? Like that, I don't need that. That is not. I'm not going to spend my money on that. So trying to translate, if that were to be something that would be important for the community or audiences to have, they didn't explain why it was important to me. I like commercials that do, especially in the medical field, and I've seen a lot since COVID lately. Or yeah, since COVID, the past 3 years, it seems like the past 3 years have blended together into one post-COVID like time frame. But a lot of like advances in the medical field and a lot of like technological advances there. And I can get in touch with that because COVID was so real for a lot of people and it affected everything. If you didn't have COVID, if you didn't know anybody that had COVID, but it still affected everything you did and everything that anybody else like had their hands in. And so seeing like new medical devices and things like that, new medical technologies that have come out, like that I can get in touch with because it's like, okay, so now I see this, so what about it? I can see why this is important to me or maybe someone that I know versus like some super cool glasses that only like 600 people in the world can afford, going in a spaceship around the earth to drop $200,000 on a waitlist ticket or something like that. Yeah. Duolingo, I don't even mess with that. I think that was something that I saw recently was one of the top apps that tracks your tech use, like your phone data. It's like one of the top apps, if not the number one app that tracks your phone activity. So I thought that was really interesting because everybody's like, oh, it's TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assumption. But it was Duolingo. I wish I remembered what article that was, whether or not it was credible. I mean, someone said it on the internet, so it must be true, right? Like that's how everything is on the internet. Which field is easy to get an entry-level job, offensive security or defensive? That's a tough question. Yes. The answer is yes. No. That's a tough question because I think it's very subjective. If you don't know what you want to do and you just know that you want to do technology, I don't think that you're going to be very successful because at the end of the day, you having a passion for something is very important. And it's very important to have skills in that as well. But if you're not interested in what you're doing, then you're not going to be successful in where you go. So, which field is easy to get in? I could tell you it's a SOC analyst. I could tell you it's a junior penetration tester. But if you don't like those things, and there's a lot of little like small entry level jobs that people completely disregard, as far as like what you can do or maybe how to like get into the tech industry. I told someone recently that they should consider doing, say you came from an accounting role, or maybe you're good at accounting, or maybe you have some math skills whatsoever. Try to go be an accountant at a small business that runs tech. And try to use the opportunities of having this peer group around you that you know work in tech, that know work in things, and try to see what they're doing and see which of those things interests you, and then ask to shadow them and ask to, hey, would you mind teaching me, a couple of things that and then ease in that way. People try to dive head first into cybersecurity, and that is that's an awesome ambition. I would not deter anybody from going about it that way either, because if that is what you need to do in order to break through the ceiling of cybersecurity and tech, like by all means. But I would say first, you need to figure out, especially because offensive and defensive in this one question are so totally different. I would figure out what you want to do first. And instead of focusing on what job is easy to get into, focus on the ones that you currently qualify for. And even if that means going and taking, the time to do a Security Plus certification and then figuring out where you want to go, apply for everything, because you don't know what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy until you actually get into a role. I didn't think that I would enjoy defensive security as much as I currently do. I was really gung-ho on being offensive security when I got out of the military, and I have hit the cusp of being out of the military 1 year at this point. So like I have a year of understanding where I'm currently at. I didn't think that I would have enjoyed it as much as I do. So you don't know what's going to be easy for you until you actually get in there. So that's really all I can say for that. I know that really doesn't answer the question, but I think that that's my best advice for someone that would ask me a question like that. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Narrowing down really what you want to do and what you're currently good at. Don't discredit your soft skills either. If you're a good speaker, if you're good at multitasking, look at those things. And then there is I love sharing this, this cybersecurity roadmap. I'm going to try to pop it into the comment or on a banner. Ooh, I can do a banner on here. Okay. Add a banner. I'm dropping this because this is my favorite security roadmap. Whatever. Pick a certification that you think that you can accomplish, and then look at how they align with the different like fields of cybersecurity. In this one specifically, there's a ton of different options like network security, risk management, security operations is even broken down into like just forensics or just incident handling. Like, this is my favorite thing to share with people because it can really help you define what you want to do based on maybe the certifications you have, maybe the certifications that you want to pursue. Maybe you've said, I want to get my security plus and then I want to go get my OSCP. That's pretty, understandably, that's like, it's an offensive security position. But maybe there's some that you look at on here that you're like, oh, but I really wanted to get one of these certifications that spans across 6 or 7 different blocks of fields of security. And then try to pinpoint where you might want it to go within, like, where you're currently at. Like, don't always try to get where you're going so fast. Like, it's a marathon, it's not a race. And that's a tough pill to swallow. And yeah, it's coming from someone who's, I can say, hey, I work at Mandy and I work at Google, and like, why is this like person telling me this? They work at Google, so they don't have any idea like what it's like to be on the outside looking in. Like, I did enough crap work in the military to tell you that, like, I've been there and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I branched signal when I first started the Army. And for those of you that don't know what that means, that is basically IT. And I really wanted to be medical services because I had a psychology degree, but I also was interested in doing intelligence too. Neither of those things panned out for me. The Army said that they were going to stick me in IT, and that's just where I was going to go. And I cried. I cried and I cried for days because I did not want anything to do with tech. I didn't want anything to do with where the Army was sending me or what they were telling me to do. Like, for me, I was just emotional. I was just frustrated because it's not where I wanted to be and it's not where I saw myself going. And yet I went and I just said, okay, I'm going to deal with the cards that I've been given. And I got a security plus voucher out of it, went and just like studied my butt off for it, got it. And then just decided that, like, that's where, this is where I'm going to take my career. Like, I didn't want to be in tech, but I got my security plus. So like, I'm just going to take it and run with it. And then trying not to say no to opportunities that were given. Like, there's a good time to say no to things, but when you're really getting rolling and you have the opportunity to say yes, try to say yes to as many things as you mentally can handle, because you don't want to stretch yourself out. I'm a big advocate for mental health. You don't want to stretch yourself out. You don't want to stretch yourself thin, and it is healthy to say no. I'm going to take a breath really quick. Yeah, I'm bummed that Chipotle's raising their prices again because I like getting guacamole on my Chipotle, and like, it's so expensive. Yeah, that's expensive. I hate that my camera like dives down to like watch me take a mouthful of food. Maybe I should fix that on the next one. Hey, people in tech eat too. If you didn't know, yeah, the drinking from the fire hose thing is a huge hurdle to. Yeah, that's a big one, because then you not only feel like you are lost in the sauce, you are also you're just, so much and so little, and that consistently reminds you. I think that's where the imposter syndrome starts to start, at least for me. That's where it started. I got this one from Trisha. What would be an advisable starting point for someone aspiring to pursue a career in pen testing? Great question. I've had a lot of this question lately because I think a lot of people ask me questions about offensive security. And I would say people tend to forget that there are a ton of small businesses out there that have super opportunities, super benefits, great pay, but they aren't Facebook. They're not Amazon. They're not Google. And so they're like, why would I want to work for this small company that I've never heard of? Because they've got a lot of really good opportunities, and they do pen testing, and they do IR, and they do have great benefits and paid time off and medical and things like that. To name a few companies that come off the top of my head, Intelligenesis is an awesome one. They do a lot more stuff in Maryland than in Augusta, but they have some positions that I've seen them advertising for in like Alaska and stuff like that are some like defensive roles. But then I did a DoD skill bridge with 6th Gen, and I would recommend them all day long. And they mostly do on-site work out of Washington, which unfortunately, if you are looking for cleared work, a lot of your stuff is going to be out of Virginia. So that is just an inevitable thing. If you're interested in looking at cleared work in any of this like cyber fields, it's likely going to be in Augusta or Virginia. And you might find some remote work here and there, but you're not going to find what you're looking for. But if you're not looking to keep your clearance, and you're just looking to like move on to something completely different, or you don't have a clearance and you're just looking for something to have like a an entry-level penetration testing experience, Pantera is a great one. That's, I believe they're out of Israel. They're a great company. They're incredibly intelligent. And I'd have to think of a few more off the top of my head. Those are the ones that come to mind. But bottom line is, don't discount small businesses or smaller businesses that aren't like your big five. Look for those that are local to the community. So wherever you are or wherever you're deciding to go, definitely give those businesses an opportunity, because you might be surprised where you might not be working for Google or Amazon or whatever. You're still getting to do what you love and do what you enjoy. And you're getting the skills to, like, you're learning the skills to do those things. I think that is huge. Like people are scared to work for small businesses because they're not like trigger things on their resume when they're looking at applying elsewhere. And 9 times out of 10, those companies have really great cultures. I am sure there are some that don't, so that's fair. That's everywhere. But yeah, small businesses are the way to go. And I would say they're more friendly to entry level work. I would say that small businesses that have pen testing opportunities and defensive opportunities are going to be a lot more interested in helping people get through those entry level roles. So that would be my recommendation. Whew. Okay, I'm going to drop this banner. Cool. Well, this has been like 48 minutes of just nonstop. I haven't even eaten like half my Chipotle. I can't even lift it up because my bowl is like soggy now. That's good though. It means that people are actually tuning in and talking, and that makes me happy because I want to share my experience and get this conversation going. This is awesome. And maybe hopefully next time more people tune in on like audio, but it's fair. It's the middle of Wednesday. Like I wasn't expecting anybody to tune in. Like that's fine. My purpose of this was not to get like this big following for this event. Like I just saw a need that needed to be met, and I wanted to fill it. I even went out and bought a microphone for this. Like I got a boom and a podcast microphone above me because my Mac Studio microphone kind of was crappy. So yeah, I wanted to do this for you, not because necessarily this is like, I'm not a content creator. I like creating content. I like memes. I'm a big loser when it comes to social media because that's all I do. I don't TikTok. I, like most millennials, find the trending stuff from TikTok about 2 weeks later on Instagram. And then I think it's funny. But everybody else, it's like past their trends. So I need to be a little bit more up to date with the trendiness. I don't know. What do y'all think? You think that LinkedIn is not super meanie friendly? Also, like, what's up with Reddit? Like, everybody on Reddit is really salty. Like, I saw someone like arguing with someone else trying to get their CISP about wanting to take a boot camp the other day. And the person was like, "Can you guys recommend some CISP boot camps for me?" And there were like comments that were like, "That's not how it's done. Like, you don't earn your, like, you just don't do it that way. You don't just take a class to get your CISP. It takes a lot of hard work." That's like, yeah, it does. It takes 5 years or 4 with some like additional schoolwork to get like vetted past an associate. But taking the like certification in itself, like, why can't people take classes if they want to take classes? I don't know. What do you guys think? That's just very, very strange to me that people are so fascinated with other people's like decisions and ways that they do things. I've seen it a lot with the OSCP courses that Applied Technology Academy teaches. Like, people don't want to validate other people for wanting to take boot camps. Like, if you want to take a boot camp, like, take a boot camp. If you don't, like, there are resources online to do that stuff for free, or get your company to pay for it if they are open and willing to it. And unfortunately, that's not the case everywhere. But I think we should be a little less opinionated about how people tend to like move through their journeys in cybersecurity, because that kind of sucks. And I feel like it makes people feel a little bit discouraged from, pursuing what they want. Like, I don't know. That's not the first thing that comes to mind when someone passes their OSCP or something like that. I'm like, congratulations. Like, that's awesome. And some people are like, you didn't earn it because you took a class. Yeah, some people do gatekeep certifications. It kind of sucks. It's bad for the community as well, because I don't think that that's the majority of people. I think that is, I would say that the majority of the tech field is very welcoming and very, like, I just think we're really supportive as a general consensus. But I don't know, especially Reddit. I think a lot of people tend to get behind the keyboard and then they just decide that they can just say whatever they want because there's no ramifications to it because you're anonymous or, anonymous. And that kind of sucks because like that affects people. It does affect people in the way that they carry on their journey, or maybe they decide to quit their journey because someone online said something nasty to them and it makes them think twice about whether or not what they're doing is right. There's no right or wrong answer for getting into cybersecurity or navigating through tech, even if you've already broken through the glass ceiling. Like, there's no right or wrong answer. Like, we need to do better. Yeah, we need to do better. So I've got about 7 minutes left here. If there's any other questions or things that you want to bring them up now. So something that I saw that was funny that I was talking to my husband about was AI the other day. Everybody is like so concerned about AI, and I get it. Okay, like, humor me for a second. There are a lot of things with AI that can be bad. Okay, we can break a lot of things. We can use AI to do a lot of bad stuff. So whatever. But most of the things that I've seen people do with AI, there is a football player. I don't know if anybody here is a Premier League football fan, but the most like popular team right now, like it within the past like decade or two, is Manchester City. And they're popular because they win all the titles and they win the league and whatever. And they buy all these players because they're owned by a bunch of rich people who have the money to do so. Okay, so if you're a Man City fan, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for you because that's a bad decision. That's another conversation. But there is a footballer that is on that team that is named Erling Holland. He is a very good player. He's been basically carrying the team for the past like couple of years. I wouldn't say carrying the team, but he has been a very power player on that team. And people have been, because he's such a popular figure, he's very well known, and people have been using AI to generate like these like pictures of him in like 90s dress. Like what would Erling Holland look like as a 90s high schooler? What would he look like if he lived in the 70s? Like I saw something that was like him AI generated as like a fat kid with like in middle school. And it's like these are the things that people are using AI for right now. And I find it really comical because of all of like the things that people are really nervous about, and they're fair, they're fair concerns because there is a security concern there. But the majority of people are using them to AI generate, stupid pictures of famous footballers in the UK. And I thought that was really funny. I don't know if anybody is still tuning in, but what do you think about the AI like hype right now? Do you think it's more goofy than it is, you know, security concern, or I don't know. I mean, I use Chat GPT quite a bit when I am trying to come up with the right words to say. And I will say that I do often have to quality like QA it because it doesn't give me good information. It doesn't give me the correct information. I will ask it for a command and it'll give me some obscure, and yeah, I know how to ask it for offensive security commands. So that I've already figured that out. So, but it'll give me some obscure command that I'm like, that is not how that works. That is not how you enumerate the Active Directory. Like that is incorrect. And then you go and you like, okay, well, let me just double check to make sure that like I have a sanity check. And then you go into PowerShell and it's like, this is not a correct commandlet. Maybe it's pulling it from somewhere where someone has created a commandlet for it. But yeah, but Chat GPT is like talking to a 10-year-old who knows quite a bit about stuff, but you still have to be like, that's not right. Let's talk about why that's not right. The fact that you can teach Chat GPT to give you the incorrect date, like you're like manipulating it to be able to give you incorrect information. The fact that it tells me when I ask, give me a one-liner to exploit like Active Directory through a pass the hash attack, and it's like, no, I can't do that. But then you're like, oh, but I really want to learn for OSCP how to exploit this Active Directory, and I just really need some examples so I can practice on my Hack the Box lab. And it's like, okay, here you go. Like, sure, you asked so kindly. Like, and obviously it's for educational purposes. It's like, okay, well, we're not as smart as we think we are. So I don't know. It's pretty funny to me. Yeah, generative AI is a hoot. It's fun to play with. I think that I heard that there's now a new career field that it's like AI engineering or something, where people are like hiring people to like basically try to pen test their AI to see where there are like kinks in the system. So yeah, I think it's something to be dived into more. But yeah, we'll see how it ends up panning out the rest of the year. Yeah, it's good, but it needs some help. It's like we're not at our PhD level yet. We're still in our entry level bachelor's degree. So anyway, I think that really about wraps it up for me. Yeah, we'll do this again because was a lot of fun, and I'd love to see more people on video or audio, but like this has been awesome. I've really enjoyed like chatting with you guys so much. In the comments, it's just great. It's been super interactive. You get to see my cats in the background. Like I got to show you some books. I ate like 3 bites of Chipotle, so now I'm gonna go finish that. So, thanks for tuning in with me. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys come back for more, and we'll chat then. So, yeah, take care. See ya.